She's a tiny little girl, and she has quite a load that she carries. She has a significant illness that causes her to be hospitalized on a regular enough basis that she's used to it, and this has caused her to be less self-confident.
It kind of holds me back from having fun all the time. If I want to do something, I always have headaches or it's hard.
I don't necessarily think about some of those physical and illness-related problems. I see her as a wonderful little girl who loves to do a lot of fun things.
She's nice. She's really, really fun. They just treat me like any ordinary friend would.
They don't need big, high-tech, fancy things to really make them happy.
I learned how to swim with her.
Initially, she was really even afraid to get in the water.
I felt like I could never even do it, and now I can.
Average people stepping up to the plate and wanting to help.
She just worries about whether I have fun or not.
In general, children that have been mentored to with a big brother or big sister, they are more trusting of adults. Children are less likely to skip school. Children are less likely to begin using drugs. I'm so lucky to be able to do this job, to be able to see the children, to see the impact, and get a card from a parent who says, I don't know where I would be without this program. Our program would not exist without funding from the United Way. It's so vitally important to us.
My mom and dad started fighting a lot when I was around 11, and he left when I was 12. I was the daddy's girl. I was the one that was always sitting around dad and helping him with what he was doing, so when he left, I took it pretty hard. I started becoming distant from a lot of people. It was about a year later, almost around the same time that my dad had left, my great-grandma had passed away. She was one of the most amazing women you would ever meet. And then after she passed, I don't know what happened. I guess I just quit trying. I was going out almost every night and getting drunk with my friends or using cocaine or smoking marijuana all the time, and my mom had actually caught me using cocaine. My attendance at school had me referred to probation, and they referred me to MASAP because of all the issues at home and just the way I felt about myself and my general outlook.
I grew up in the inner city myself. I grew up in East LA, and I went through the whole gang thing. I was a juvenile delinquent myself. There's always some point that you can trace where a kid starts changing and doesn't care about school.
I started changing who I was hanging out with. I started hanging out with some of the girls that I had met through MASAP.
I remember Brandy was the leader type. Kids listened to her. So we actually got her to use her leadership skills to not only help herself, but to help other kids too.
There's a good chance they saved my life. With the road I was going, who knows where I'd be right now if it wasn't for them stepping in. Janelle and I have a very strong bond. She really is like my mom. I always felt for the longest time that my mom didn't want me. That just wasn't there with me and my mom, and I had that with Janelle.
Our typical client is either working or working part-time jobs, but working in low-wage jobs that don't offer health insurance. It's very difficult to have a chronic illness like diabetes and not have health insurance.
I've been diabetic for over 30 years. One of the worst diseases there is, because it's affected my body in a lot of ways.
Mildred's diabetes has made her dental health worse, and her dental health has made her diabetes more difficult to manage.
For instance, I have stomach problems. I have problems with my heart.
Typically what would happen is their health would deteriorate to the point where eventually they would be considered disabled and would potentially be unable to work and require assistance, and eventually the outcome could lead to death.
I went to them to see if they could help me, and it was a godsend. And then they started giving me the medication. And then on top of that, they gave me the education that I needed. I smile a lot more, and I can look into people's eyes again and smile, and it's just a great feeling. It's put me, back to where I can look forward to doing something more productive with my life.
What we see when someone comes in sick and walks out healthy and is able to get a job and has a different outlook on life, that change that's been made in one person becomes a change that is a force in our community.
To put it, plain, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for their help.
I am a United Way donor as well, and I wouldn't be putting my money towards something that I thought wasn't helping our community.
They need to know, what a great thing they're doing when they give to the United Way. I appreciate everything that they do for us, and it's always a great feeling knowing that there's people that care.